Hey guys, welcome back. Bolt Spider here, and I didn't really know what to do today, so I'm deciding to go back to all my how the deck build videos and redo how the decks look. Now, this was the original, one of the very first videos I did for this series, which was Dogmatika Nekroz, and it also featured a little Shadal engine because Nadir Servant helped tutor out stuff like that. Now, this is going to be the first in line of many things that I come back to, as I'm going to be looking at the like-dislike ratios and adjusting them as accordingly as they are for the builds. Now, overall, what am I going to do to adjust this deck? Now, Dogmatika Nekroz is one of my favorite decks that there has been in the past few years, because it's always a safe bet to fall on, even though Dogmatika is an engine that can get hit. Overall, what I plan to do is to adjust the build to how it should look nowadays, recent through all the ban lists and everything. Now, one of the things I do have to say is I'm going to be adding things on the lines of the pencil plume and all those. So the incantations are going to be added to this list because they all help the deck in certain ways, either for tribute fodder for Valkyris or just using for ritual summons. So let's get into it and let's see what I would adjust. So first off, of course, Nadir Servant is down to 2, so that's the easiest one, and Harpy's Feather Duster I'm going to move away. Now, Shret is here because of just a natural one of for the deck. Now, Dogmatika Nekroz, I always see what people do, what people play, and it's a lot of fun what seeing people do. Now, I am not going to focus on the Shadal aspect anymore, because I feel like it isn't as good as it once was. And what we're also going to do, we're going to add a little more Dogmatika into this. So Dogmatika gets more extra and added. So which ones I would do? I would definitely do another Ecclesia, and I would definitely do another Fleur de Lis, because those two are very well rounded. I'm also going to might be utilizing the White Knight of Albaz and the White Relic of Dogmatika, or the White Knight of Dogmatika. So that means we can run Dogmatika as the ritual spell for the deck, or we can use Dogmatic Cabaret because this ritual summons from hand or graveyard. And also, if both White Knight and White Relic are on the field, you can look at either your opponent's extra deck or yours and send one monster from it. But Dogmatic Cause is just a ritual spell that you could send one monster from your extra deck to the graveyard, so it's another Nekroz Kaleidoscope. So we do have options with that. Now, afterwards, for things like the main deck, I feel like we're going to go a little lighter on a few of our ritual spells, because Nekroz Cycle is good and all, but it really isn't needed, and one Nekroz Mirror isn't really needed as well. So we're down a few cards, but that's fine because we could just easily put them back in. And I do have to say, one of the best search cards that we have is Preparation, right? Because it gets our ritual spells back. And since we're going more of this style of a deck, I feel like that we should add more, like another Natis. The Mechabug can go, since we're not going to be really utilizing Cyber Dragon Nova all that often. Now, after that, I feel like we just need a few other targets for things like Dogmatika Punishment. So really, we can use any big beat stick, which is like Dragon Master Knight, Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon. But I feel like Dragon Master Knight is going to be our 5k removal target, so we're going to add that. Afterwards, let's fill up the deck a little more, and the reason why I like things like the White Knight and White Relic is if your opponent activates a card or effect, you could send one monster from your extra deck to the graveyard, and if you do, look at your opponents and send another. And then White Relic is, if this card is ritual summoned, target 2 face-up monsters on the field, make one of those monsters gain attack equal to the other. Level 8 or higher Dogmatika monsters you control cannot be destroyed by battle. And if a monster is special summoned from your opponent's extra deck, you can look at your opponent's extra deck and send one monster. So this is a good form of interruption here, while this is good if they activate an effect. So on your turn, if they activate an effect while you have this on the field, you could just easily rip a card out of your opponent's deck. And I think the ones that we're going to run is going to be one of each. Now, hand trap wise, I'm cutting Lancia because that's more of a side deck card now. And we're going to be putting something like Imperm or Valor in. It really doesn't matter. One of the things that we could do later on is do something like a branded Albaz, branded Albaz Nekroz variant, but that's a little more clunky, and you have to kind of deal with a few other things. Now, since we're going up more on Dogmatika stuff, I'm adding one more Titaniclad, and now we have 3 spaces left. And these 3 spaces, they're just going to be here just for some pieces and all that. But I do know I want to run Diviner of the Herald, because Diviner of the Herald can send Herald of the Arclight so you can get your play started, and it's a free level 2 that you could do a little more with. But if I were to play this, I would have to cut a couple cards that are pretty essential, and I feel like that the Knight is going to be a little better. And for the ritual spell, I think Cabre can go. So we can add the double Diviner of the Herald. And since it's a fairy, it can help a little because it's tuner and all that. And you can probably summon a level 6, or no, level 8 Synchro monster here. And because of that, we have a little access to a Synchro play. We could definitely do another piece, but it's also a level 6, so we can do a Beatrice, because Beatrice is a very good utility card. And outside of that, I can't really think of much, so we're going to add another Titaniclad just to have there. Now, other things we could do, we can add things like Tornado Dragon Abyss Dweller, so I might just add that Abyss Dweller, because it could be useful in certain situations. Let's do a test hand and see what there is. So this hand opens up Valkyris, Unicorn, and Brionic. So easily we're just going to Brionic to grab the Colossalus, and then Colossalus is going to use its effect to grab us a Kaleidoscope. Afterwards, we're going to activate our lovely Disciple of the Nadir, and we're going to be sending, we can either send Titaniclad or we can grab ourselves another ritual, but I feel like we're going to send Titaniclad to add a Dogmatika Ecclesia. Now with that, we're going to activate our Nekroz Kaleidoscope, and we're going to be sending the Herald of the Arclight to summon out Nightmare Unicorn, or Nekroz Unicorn. Then we're going to use the effect of Herald, and this is where we can grab a Nekroz of Trishula if needed, or a Nekroz of Valkyris, or really anything. But our Nekroz of Valkyris is in hand, but that's absolutely fine. And I feel like Dogmatika is going to be a little more useful, because we can get out a ritual, but this is more of a stun variety of deck, so I feel like Trishula is going to be a little better. Then we're just going to normal summon out our Ecclesia, use its effect to search out a Dogmatika punishment. Then we're going to set a card, end the turn, and Titaniclad is going to trigger, and we're going to be adding a Dogmatika Fleur-de-Lis for another negate. So we're ending on a punishment interruption, a Fleur-de-Lis negate, and an Ash Blossom, and also a skill drain on board. Now, another piece that I do want to say is that the Dogmatika stuff can be a little weird with the rituals, but I feel like White Knight is the best of the two, and Dogmatika being a search target is a search target, because if you Nadir Servant send the Herald of the Arclight, you can get a 2-for-1 special, because Nadir sent Arclight effect, and Nadir searches out Ecclesia, or you can grab the Albaz Knight, White Knight. So there's a lot of different combinations you could do, but I hope you like this update to the Dogmatika Nekroz deck that I uploaded a little over a year ago. But anyways, I've been Bolt Spider. See you guys in the next video, and goodbye.